Okay, continuing on with the CD collection, I'm working on the audio. I know that my audio is always very low, so I've worked on some settings for this one. So hopefully that is being rectified. So if it sounds a little different, that is the issue. Also, I just mowed the grass, so my allergies are all out of whack. So if I get to coughing or sneezing or whatever, that's what's going on. So I'm going to apologize in advance for that. I believe I believe we're on part 51 or 52 maybe of the city collection. It really doesn't matter. We're still in the E section. We're going to be there for this video and at least part of the next video. So I'm just going to jump in. First up, we have Entheos. I believe that's how you pronounce that, with the Infinite Nothing. This is progressive technical, definitely overly technical death metal. It's pretty good. This came out, I think, back in 2016. It's kind of one of those projects that's almost like a super group of sorts, with members of other bands getting together to work on this project. A lot of members that are in other technical death metal outfits. So this one kind of falls a little flat compared to some of the projects that those band members are a part of on their own. Next up, we have a kind of grindy, brutal death metal band out of Bulgaria. This is Enthrallment, with people from the lands of Vit. This is pretty good as far as brutal death metal goes. There are some definite good ideas going as far as the musicianship. There's some riffs on here that are very memorable, but the album as a whole, I don't know if it's maybe the production. I'm not quite sure. It gets a little muddied up at times, but the album's pretty good. I think this is like their third full length. They have 5 or 6 releases out, but this is the only one of their full lengths that I actually own. Next up, we have some black metal. This is Enthroned. I believe Enthroned is out of Italy. Could be wrong on that. There's a heavy dose of Italy bands in this uh, in this particular video, but I think they're from Italy. I could be just way off on that. This has their first. This is a box set from Enthroned. It's entitled Black in Years. Obviously, Enthroned is black metal. This has their first 4 full lengths, and it also has an EP all on this one box set. I believe for me, this is like the best part of Enthroned. Um, the 2 albums on here that I absolutely love are the debut album Prophecies of Pagan Fire, and their third release, the Apocalypse Manifesto. Those 2 full lengths, that's what kind of sold me on this box set. I got the box set fairly cheap anyways, but just good kind of second wave uh, nasty black metal. There we go. Not too much going on the disc and stuff, so I won't spend just too much time on this. They all look identical. This was released on Dissonance Productions, so cool little box set there. Next up, speaking of Italy, this band that I'm going to show, I know for certain is out of Italy. I don't remember much about this particular full length. This is their debut. This is Entirety with the Moth of Hate. This is not the album that got me into this band. I'm if my memory serves me correct, this album kind of had a more almost symphonic black metal feel than the latter album that I'd heard. This particular release was released back in 1999. I don't remember. I don't want to sit here and speak too much on this because I just don't remember. Um, when you have over 5,000 albums in your collection, the memory is going to fade on some of the stuff. I don't. I remember I don't like this one as much as the other album of theirs that I own, and that is 2017. So it was what 18 years apart. This is Entirety with Eternal Fire. This one was released through Raised Soul Productions back in 2017. I got this. I remember I was. This is when I was kind of getting into more and more black metal on this channel when I picked this up, and I dug this one quite a bit. This one seemed far less symphonic from what I remember of the debut. They had several albums that came out between these, but I love this album, and that's why I backtrack. And then after listening to this one, I just haven't picked up anything else from entirety. But this one's kind of more straightforward, traditional black metal. Has that almost bestial feel going on in this, but uh, I definitely dig this one quite a bit. So usually I found quite a bit of things on Ray Soul Productions that I tend to like anyways. Next up we have a, uh, a death metal, kind of brutal death metal band. I forget where this band is from. This was just a little promo that got thrown in with a different order that I made. It was kind of a freebie in there. This is Entity with Hate from Funland. Does not look like it would be brutal death metal. Just looking at it like that, there's the back. Not much going on, and I think it's a CDR. This is the only full length that Entity ever put out. I believe this came out back in 2002, but it's pretty decent. Just kind of run of the mill brutal death metal, but for what it is, I mean, it's not a horrible release. Next up, a band that some of you may have heard of. This is Entombed with Left Hand Path, uh, the epitome of '90s Swedish death metal. I mean, this is about as perfect of a old school death metal album as you're going to get. I don't have to speak too much on Entombed. I mean, you guys know, you've heard Left Hand Path. I'm sure you have your own feelings towards this. This was a radio copy, as you can see. I picked this up secondhand. This album, I think, originally was released in '91. I think the band did like their own release in '89, but as far as a label release, I think it was released in '91. This is the 1999 Earache reissue, and I have the same '99 reissue of clandestine. Yeah, I'm dumb. By Entombed. When you release an album like this, like Left Hand Path, I mean that's almost impossible to follow up. This was a good album. It just felt like they were trying to do more of the same. I mean, I understand that the formula worked on this, but I mean, this is still a good album. I still consider this essential Entombed, something that you need to own. But it's very good. It just kind of falls a little short of where Left Hand Path was, and they kind of changed the formula. I think there was like some internal turmoil going on within the band and stuff between uh, the two the two full lengths. This one came out, I think, like a year after Left Hand Path did as well. Obviously, they recorded this one a couple years before it actually got the label release. So, but there were some issues I think that went on in the band between the two releases, and that one just felt like it fell a little short of Left Hand Path. They changed the formula up a little bit in Wolverine Blues. This is the one that has like the limited edition that actually has the comic book uh, feel going on with Wolverine there. This is where they kind of started delving into that kind of death and roll sound. I know after this one they fell off a little bit, but as far as Entombed is concerned, these are the three that I just showed are the essential albums that you should own. That is all that I own from Entombed. At some point, I would like to pick up some of their latter material, even possibly some of the Entombed AD material as well. But as far as essential Entombed listens go, those are the three that you need in your collection there. Next up, we have some thrashy death metal. I guess a kind of war themed thrashy death metal. It seems like this album comes in every single horror, pain, gore, death grab bag that anyone has ever picked up, which is a little sad because it's not a bad album. It just apparently did not move. This is Entrenched with Preemptive Strike. Pretty good. I mean, it's kind of a run of the mill thrashy death metal. There's no reinventing of the wheel going on this album, but I still find this one entertaining. I still go back and pull this one off the shelf for repeated listens. So I mean that's got to speak something for it. So fairly decent stuff there. I mean it just it's a bit of a shame that apparently they just have a ton of overstock on that because it didn't move. Next up, the next two are not metal at all. We have Enya with A Day Without Rain. I love this album. I fell in love with this album back when it came out. It's had to have come out around that 2000 year 2000 mark because I was just senior year of high school, just getting out of high school. So I remember vividly when this came out. The Lord of the Rings movies were hitting the theaters, and I was all about that life. So there was a track on here that sounded like it came straight out of a black metal intro. I don't remember which one it is now. I haven't listened to this in a while, but I do love this. I love this Enya album immensely. It's something I can put on and relax and just zone out and go somewhere else in my mind if I need to. And then I picked this one up at Goodwill. This is Enya with a Maritime. I really haven't just spent too much time with this one, but it's just A Day Without Rain. That's just one of those albums for me that is going to be one of the albums that'll be in my collection forever, regardless of what I decide to part with. Kind of funny, you know. This is a metal channel, and I'm sitting here oogling Enya albums. Next up, we have some uh, hardcore, grindcore, definitely grindy, crusty hardcore out of Finland. I am going to butcher this band's name. This is Apajare. Yeah, I can't even say it. The name of it's a little compilation album. It's called Early Demos, Early Demons. It's pretty good. I mean, there's 30 tracks on this album, so for me, like stuff like that, it's kind of hard for me to just get into too much because about the time that you're starting to really get into the song or get into the track, it's over with and it's moving on to something else. But for what it is, it's not bad. I got this in a grab bag at one point. I don't remember which one, but I mean, for what it is, it's not a bad release. Next up, this is a release that another. I think this is another band out of Italy in this particular video. This is one that makes me feel like a hoarder. I don't know why this one's still in the collection. I probably will never ever listen to this album again, and I don't even know anybody that I could give this to that would like it. And that sounds a little harsh, but it's not good. This is Ethel Devoth with their EP On Death and Cosmos. This was released on Agonia Records. It's kind of jazzy. Um, I think they describe themselves as avant-garde metal. It's very jazzy, heavy, some post metal. I don't know. It's not good. I'm not going to spend much time on that. If that's something that if you like that band and it's something you're into, then I mean, I'm not hating on you, but it's not for me. So moving on, let me make myself some room here. Next up, we have some symphonic metal out of the Netherlands. I believe this band is out of the Netherlands. We have Epica with the Phantom Agony. I was head over heels in love with this album. I still enjoy this album, but like looking back now, I have to ask myself: is this album really as good as I remember it being? Or is like my memories and nostalgia kind of clouding my judgment on this? This is the 2004 Transmission / Raw Metal Records pressing. I know there was a ton of different pressings on this particular album. This one was hard to pick up for the longest time. It was going for like astronomical amounts of money. Maybe now you can find it cheap, super cheap, but maybe the search that I had to put in to get my hands on a copy of this makes me a little more makes me enjoy it or think that I like it more than I actually do. I mean, it's not bad. I do like it. The song "Cry for the Moon" is obviously a classic of theirs that brought a lot of people into that band. I have their second full length, "Consigned to Oblivion," It's only just the front liner note, and the disc itself is all that I have on that. It's pretty decent. If you hear my dog, I don't know what she's doing. She's in here making some noise, doing something. Next up, we have the Classical Conspiracy live in Miskolc, Hungary. It has the Miskolc Theater something. It's a it's an orchestra. That it's a 2 disc set. It has like the symphony, the orchestra doing their part on disc one, and then disc two has the epica set where they're playing with the actual orchestra. It's actually a pretty good album. I do enjoy this one quite a bit. So it's 2 disc. The original case with the flip part of the disc broke, so I just have it in a regular case. So I'm not going to get the other disc out and show those and stuff. And then we have Epica with Design Your Universe. I remember liking this one fairly well. I have not listened to this in quite some time. I think the next album is the one that kind of made me fall out of love with Epica, and that is Requiem for the Indifferent. I remember pre-ordering this one, and I was waiting, and I was excited for it to come. And when it came, it was the misprint. This is an album that one of the tracks on here, they left the vocals off. It has the like orchestral and the backing vocals. I guess the choir vocals. They left the actual main vocals off of the track, and to rectify that, they just did like a download of the track, like a free download. They never, I mean, everybody pre-ordered these CDs, and instead of fixing the problem, they just shipped them out with the error, like it was no big deal. And like, well, now you got a collector's item. It's first press, but I don't want a collector's item. I'd rather have the album complete as it is. And then they tried to send just a download, of the track as a rectify for that, and that sucks because I mean, each smaller bands and smaller labels. I look at Annotations of an Autopsy. That's a much smaller, different style of music completely, and they footed the bill to do replacement disc when they had their misprint of the Sludge City or or the EP that they did. I mean, they rectified that situation. Uh, Nuclear Blast, I mean, they're a shit label anyway. I'm not a fan of theirs. They have some killer bands on their label, don't get me wrong, but just some of their practices that they do, I'm not a fan of. And so it does not surprise me that they never really fixed their error there. And then I kind of was like, well, I'm not going to pick up any more Epica after that because even though it was probably out of the band's control, it still irked me enough that it just kind of turned me off on them. And then I got this one in a grab bag from Nuclear Blast. This is an Epica with the Quantum Enigma. It has the hole punch back there in the barcode. A lot of those grab bag type deals that Nuclear Blast used to do, they don't even do the grab bags anymore. But a lot of the grab bags that they used to do all had the hole punch in the barcode albums. Sorry, I told you my allergies are tearing me up today. Next up, we have some kind of progressive death metal. This is Epicurean with A Consequence of Design. This one's not bad. I got this in a bulk lot of albums from Metal Blade Records. I think that video is still up on the early days of this channel, but this one's not bad. I mean, it's a little forgettable, but it's a decent progressive death metal. There are some atmospheric feelings going on in that as well. Next up, killer classic release. We have Epidemic with Decameron, I believe is how you pronounce that. This came out in 1990. So killer death metal. I think they're out of California. As far as their releases go, this is the only just essential Epidemic release that you need. But if you haven't heard this one and you're enjoying this new wave of kind of old school death metal going on, definitely get your hands on this, or at least find you a stream or something and check this one out because it is some nasty, nasty, nasty goodness. Another band of the same name. This is Epidemic. This one is kind of a crossover thrash metal band. I forget where this band is from. They're on Horror, Pain, Gore, Death. I got this in a grab bag, of course. This is Malformed Conscience, and this one's pretty good too. If you're into crossover thrash, I think you will dig this one. But I was hoping maybe it would show on the inside where this band is from, but it doesn't. Pretty good stuff here. Horror, Pain, Gore, Death. There are a few stinkers on that label, as every label has, but the majority of stuff that I've heard from HPGD, I have enjoyed. Next up, I think the almost all of the next albums in this video are from the same band, a band that's kind of close to my heart, out of Memphis, which is about an hour and a half from me. We have Epoch of Unlight with their 1996 EP entitled Within the Night. This is when Epoch of Unlight was a bit farther into the blackened, like kind of black metal realm. They've always had the death metal feel going on, but their earlier stuff was a lot more steeped in black metal. Obviously, they've gone through a ton of lineup changes over the years. I mean, you look at '96, it's 2022, and the band is still going. They actually have a full length, I think, coming out this year. So obviously, over that a time period like that, from a band that just never hit superstardom, you're going to have a ton of lineup changes. And then I have their 1997 demo entitled Black and Crimson Glory. This is just the front uh, insert and the disc. That's all I have on this. I don't know if it was ever released in a full disc, like full setup like this or not, but all I have is the front insert and the disc. I bought that secondhand. I think I got that on Discogs or eBay. I can't remember. And then we have the full length, what will has been. Killer stuff there. I got this. It looks like at Hastings or FYE. I can't remember uh, where that sticker, where those particular stickers, what store those were from. I'm thinking Hastings, but I'm not 100% on that. I do miss Hastings quite a bit. I used to find all kinds of killer stuff in their used in their little used bins and used sections. Then we have my favorite Epoch of Unlight release, Caught in the Unlight. This one's kind of where they fully embraced the death metal sound. I mean, the black metal, influence is still there, but there we go. Then we have the Continuum Hypothesis. Obviously, that's a repurposed case that one is in. And they do have a full length coming out this year. I am excited. It's been quite a long time. They've had some EPs and stuff over the years, but it's been this was their last full length, and this came out in 2005 on the end. So it's been quite a long time since they put out a full length. So I am excited to hear what they have coming out this year. And then we're going to finish off with some German folk metal. This is Equilibrium with Sagas. This is the 2-disc set that has the bonus DVD released on Nuclear Blast. I talk crap about Nuclear Blast, but I can't talk too much, I guess, because I have a ton of their labels releases in the collection. And then there's the DVD. I got this one super. I got this for next to nothing, and I don't remember where I picked it up. It was on, I think, like a Black Friday sale or something along the way. But it's just epic folk metal. Definitely some good stuff there. I need some more Equilibrium in the collection for sure. That's all I've got for today. I will keep these coming up on Sundays. Is keep the schedule going as best as I possibly can. I will see you guys very soon. Stay classy.